What's up everybody, Jay here. In today's video I'm going to be talking to you more about a personal story of mine. And if you saw my last video you would know that I'm going to start sharing more personal things because I feel that if I share things that happen to me, it might relate to some of you. And I feel this topic that I am going to be talking about relates to a lot of people. And if you haven't, noticed the title, it's called The Final Game. So a tiny background on me, I play basketball and I am a senior. Our season ended in February, and that's what I'm going to be talking about is the final game that I had as a high school player and just kind of my experience with it, because I know a lot of, you guys probably watching are athletes or you have some type of activity you do that, you're approaching your last time, and I just kind of wanted to share my story and just talk about it and just kind of get it out, because this is the first time I've actually really talked fully, about my experience. So first I want to say that honestly that is one of the most emotional things that I've ever gone through in my life when the buzzer went off for my final game. I don't know what it was. I just remember, looking up at the clock, and fair in mind this game was really close. It ended, the score ended 90-85. So it was a very close game right to the final. We went into overtime, so it, took longer than supposed to. I just never expected the emotion that would come from that game. There was a ton of build-up going to it. My team and I had such confidence that we were going to win. It was the sectional championship. We were feeling good. We came off of 2 hard games that we felt, ourselves. We played the way we played all season, and it was something that we felt really prepared for. So, losing 2 was hard because, you feel so prepared, but I remember there was a foul shot at the other end. The team was shooting a foul shot, and I was all the way on the other side of the court just setting up something that we do for my team, and I looked at the clock and there was like 2 seconds left. And if you looked at the score, you knew we were going to lose. But in my mind, I didn't lose yet. The game wasn't over. It just had a different feel, and I remember so much when the buzzer went off. Something clicked in me and my whole emotion changed. I remember I just went to my knees and just started crying. Like, I don't know what it was. It was literally 2 seconds I was feeling like, oh my gosh, maybe we could win, even though it wasn't possible, to being on my knees, not being able to actually sit up, crying because of it. So it honestly was such a hard thing for me to go through, and I know the other seniors, I had 6 other seniors on my team, and it was a very tough night for us. And personally, my dad was my coach, so knowing that that was the last time playing for him, that was something too, I think, that got to me, because, we've had a great ride, my dad and I, and so a bunch of emotions hit once that buzzer went off. I don't know what this night, I'm not lying to you guys, I have thought of this game every day since it ended, and it ended over 2 months ago. I had such a connection with that game. I think knowing that, it could be my last, I put my heart out into it. So it's just one of those games where I don't know what it is. Like, I never expected, I've played with seniors obviously, and to see them go through it, I just never thought this day would come. I never thought that my last high school game would come, because I don't know, so I remember starting freshman year, being right in front of the gym, being like, oh my gosh, first year of varsity basketball, all this stuff, and then the buzzer to my senior year went off. And it just happened so fast when you look back on it. And it's just such an emotional time that, honestly, I don't know if this video can prepare you for it. I didn't get prepared for it. It's just one of those things that you can hear about, but I don't know, you can feel so many different emotions like at that point. Because a lot of times, in a sport, or obviously you have different activities, but right now I'm just talking about like a sport, you don't know when your final game is going to be, because when you go into tournament you could lose or you could win. So it's like you're not like, oh my gosh, this is my final game. This could be my final game. You hope it's not your final game, but this could be, unless you make it to the championship. So it's one of those things where you don't know how the outcome's going to be, so you really can't prepare yourself for it during the game or before the game. I just remember that night so vividly. I can remember coming, out through the doors to get to the locker room and just bending down, crying. My athletic trainer that was there, she was giving us a hug, us going into the locker room, you know, some of the words exchanged of, you know, gratitude towards the team, sitting there just, you know, crying, my dad coming in and talking to us, you know, after the game. There's just so many things that I remember throughout that night. One thing that I remember so vividly too from that night is coming home on the bus, getting off the bus. My dad and the coaches other coaches, they went into his office to talk. And in the gym, there were 12 seats lined in the center, ready for us to be there because, you know, they wanted to use it as a symbol of like, oh, we could win. Here's 12 seats for the winners to come and sit. We'll have a pep rally for you that night, kind of thing. It really wasn't a big like announcement that was made. It was just one of the head people at school told me about it, and I remember coming in and I sat down on the middle chair and just stared at the gym. And I looked in the stands and I tried to replay a bunch of things that happened throughout the season, just wanting to, you know, think about it and get all of the memories and just look at it. And I just remember looking and seeing everything. Like my mom, she sat in the same spot every time, you know, looking and seeing her there. And just, I don't know, it's just such a crazy thing. I was just sitting there. And so pretty much all I'm trying to say is to, you know, the juniors, the sophomores, the freshmen coming up, you know, your to-be seniors, don't take any of this for granted. You know, the silly drama that might be going on your team, the silly fighting, the silly worrying, the silly stressing that you look back on and like, why did I stress? Just try, I know it's hard at the moment, but really try just to enjoy the activity you're in. Like for basketball, enjoy your team, get to know your team, because it goes by fast. It really does. Like like I said, I can remember freshman year, the very first practice, walking in the doors for the first time, to now the buzzer's off. It's been 2 months since I played my last high school game, and it just flew by. So don't take anything for granted when you play. Work your butt off. You know, you're gonna go through down times. You really are. But you're gonna have a lot more fun times when you look back on it. Whether it's, you know, winning your games, winning championships, winning tournaments, winning on the floor with your team, being with your team, you know, having success, you know, knowing from point A to point B how much I got better in this time. You know, you don't really think about it when you're in the moment, but since I'm, you know, 2 months out of my season, looking back on it, there's so many things that you're like, oh man, I wish I could have done that, or what if I would have done that, or man, that was a fun ride. Like, it just all hits you at one time because you know it's over. So for you seniors out there, and you had this kind of experience with me, I feel you. I feel you so much when some other people probably don't understand, or, you know, eventually will, but pretty much, you know, that's it for the video. I just really wanted to share this story with you guys because you're gonna have a final game in something, whether it's, you know, a sport or a club or an activity, or, you know, the last day of school for high school, or, you know, you're gonna have a final something. And I just wanted to show you my experience with it, because if you guys are struggling, I want you to know I'm still struggling with it. You know, I'm right there with you. And again, if you want to talk, we can always talk in the comments, or you can email, because that's just something that I feel, you know, we can help each other with. You know, just remembering the good times, you know. But just, again, have fun, enjoy it, enjoy your teammates. Try not to stress, you know, as much. I know it's hard. Try not to stress. Have fun. Work your butt off, because, you know, that championship or that nice win that you felt good, that's such a great feeling inside to know you worked your butt off and then you know, you got that reward. So just keep working hard out there. You know, I believe in you. You guys can do it. Just, you know, keep going for that. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you have a fabulous day. Bye.
Let's do it soon, but